I made the very impulsive decision this morning that I'm going to do a week in my life, or at least a day in my life, so depending on what the title of this video is, I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure why of all the times I could possibly do this, I picked right now because I literally have the busiest Monday ever and pretty much the busiest week ever. I feel mostly prepared for it, but it is still gonna be a lot, and so filming on top of that, I don't know. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea. Sorry, this video is super shaky right now. I promise the rest of the video won't be this bad once I turn on my camera. So today I am actually up fairly early for me. I'm not going to tell you the time because it's embarrassing how late my early has become. But I need to go get COVID tested. Not because I think I have COVID, but because my school is finally opening up for 2Ls and 3Ls to study on the weekends. But to let us on campus, they are making us get tested with the new test actually that WashU just developed. So instead of the swab test, which thankfully I've never had to endure, we're going to do like a spit test that's supposedly just as effective. I don't know, I'm just doing what I'm told, but I have to go do that early this morning, and so I just had my last drink of water and brushed my teeth because for the spit test work you can't put anything in your mouth at all, I think up to half an hour before you take it. So in about half an hour, well 20 minutes now, I'm gonna go take that and then come back here to do my family law class, which is the only thing I have going on Mondays. I'm actually really interested for today's class because we're talking about domestic violence and torts. Not that I'm interested in domestic violence and torts, but it's a really interesting piece in the history of the legal development of family law in the United States. As I've mentioned before, I am a research assistant for my family law professor, so I actually spent a ton of time yesterday working with her to put together a small video and presentation to honor the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who recently passed away. I have a couple other things on the agenda, but I will tell you about them as I go. So for now, I'm gonna finish up getting ready really quick and then head out to get tested. So sorry for the weird angle, but this is the only place I can put you where it's safe for me to drive. So I am on my way to go get tested. I'm listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Stuff You Should Know. Highly recommend if you haven't listened to it before. I put on a lot more makeup than I was intending to for this outing. I haven't worn makeup in a really long time. It's a really nice day outside. It's definitely getting a little cooler in St. Louis. I've brought out some extra blankets in my apartment because, I mean, it's definitely still a comfortable temperature, especially if you're outside in the sun or whatever. It's really beautiful actually, but inside and not moving a lot. Alright, I think I'm in the right place, but I am not confident. So we're just gonna wander around till I figure out where I need to spit in a tube. Alright, so that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. I mean, it's fairly easy to go through a little screening questionnaire or whatever, but then the actual spit test, you have to like fill a tube with a very specific amount of saliva, like between 0.5 milliliters and 1 milliliter, or whatever the measurement was. So the first time I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this in one try. I don't want to be sitting here spitting forever. And so this is really gross, pulled up all the saliva in my mouth like they told me to, put in the tube, and it was too much. So then they wanted me to dump out some, but that is such a small amount of spit. It's like this much, like compared to my eyeball, like this much. And so you can't just dump out part of it, so I accidentally dumped out all of it, but I'd already pulled like all the saliva I could come up with. So then I had to stand there for another like 5 minutes like an idiot not able to get that much more. Oh my gosh, it was annoying, but whatever, it's done, and it's better than having my brain touch with a Q-tip, I guess. They also gave me this bag when I was done of COVID gear. So, I mean, I already have all this stuff, but I guess we don't know how long this thing is lasting. We might need more. Like I said, I have no reason to think that I'm sick, so it'll be very surprising to everybody if it comes back positive. And that would not be good for anyone. But yeah, let's go back home. I have gotten a lot of emails in the last 30 minutes that apparently I need to answer now. So that's what we're gonna go do. So I've got a couple emails to answer about job applications, meeting up with a mentee, my research assistant work, the career center, a couple stuff like that. I'm gonna do that really quick, go to class, and then I will check in with you guys after and tell you what I learned, I guess. So class let out a little while ago. We talked about, as I mentioned before, domestic violence within interspousal relationships, as well as interspousal tort suits. We learned a lot about the history and the development of whether suits were allowed or not, because for a long time they weren't, under the doctrine of coverture, which said that a woman's legal identity was basically consumed by her husbands when they got married. And so it wouldn't make sense to allow someone that the law saw as one person sue themselves. So until like the mid-1900s, interspousal suits weren't allowed at all. And it was difficult to prosecute a husband for committing domestic violence when in fact that kind of behavior was not really addressed by the courts for either privacy concerns or for just wanting to leave it up to society to decide what to do with that person instead of the courts. Thankfully, domestic violence is very much not allowed anymore, but how we go about prosecuting it and holding people accountable is really different and sometimes overly broad and not really tailored to the facts of every situation. It's still an area of the law that needs to be developed further to bring justice to both the victim and the perpetrator. Anyway, family law was really interesting today, and I'm looking forward to learning more about this topic When's my next family law class? Wednesday, I think. Now I'm going to be working on my research assistant project, which I actually turned in last night, but my professor wanted me to double check some of the citations. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, hopefully get a decent amount of chunk done, because I'm filming another video in 2-ish hours that I'm really excited about and that I think you guys will see next week if I have the schedule right in my brain. But whenever that video comes out, I will make sure to put it up here for you. And in fact, I'll give you a little preview right now. I will open up for discussion on what your past experiences over this last year have been with the transition to working or doing school or studying for the LSAT or the bar online. And then we will transition into talking about future possibilities for what this transition to online looks like in the field of law and the various aspects that we're all involved in it. Don't you love my arbitrary angle changes just to signify that it's a different time of day? So the collab video is all done, all filmed. I'm very excited about it and for you guys to see the full thing next week. I had such a good time talking with everybody. I really like YouTube friendships. I don't know what it is. What else are we doing today? It is about 4 o'clock, so I have dinner plans in about an hour and a half with somebody, and until then, I'm just going to work on homework, probably. Oh, you cannot see that at all. There we go. There's my little to-do list. Hopefully there's nothing private on there. The last couple weeks, I've started to do this, to have a daily to-do list, which I always like making to-do lists, but have something that I can actually check off that's just for that one day is great, because normally my lists have a bunch of things that are scattered and not really like prioritized in any sense of the word. So yeah, my homework that I'm giving myself today is to finish my homework for tomorrow, which it's already half done. But I have a night class, my international courts class. I need to do the reading for that. So I'd love to accomplish that today and not have to worry about it tomorrow like I usually do, really last minute. And then I also want to start my ethics homework. Ethics I don't have until Wednesday, but we normally don't have a ton of reading for that class, and this week is going to be a bit of an exception to that. We have several cases that we need to read in addition to the rules and notes that we normally do. So I'm going to at least start the rules and notes portion so that I can have the cases fresh in my memory when I do that homework either tomorrow or Wednesday morning. And then I also need to catch up on my journals for negotiation. So in my negotiation class, we do these simulations where we kind of bargain with the other side in a particular hypothetical where we represent different clients. And then we are supposed to document kind of what happened, what we learned from those interactions, and bring in what we, I guess, got out of the reading into that conversation of what was going on a negotiation level. So yeah, I haven't done those the last 2 weeks, but I did take preliminary notes. I just haven't actually drafted them into my little 2-page essays yet. So I'd like to catch up. I don't want to get too far behind on those. It's not a ton of work, but it will be if I don't do them for 2 months. So that is my goal for today. Negotiation stuff, international court stuff, start ethics. Go do my dinner thing. And then I also am going to have a devotional time with my mom. Every week we've been reading a different chapter of Romans, which has been super nice and fun because it gives us an opportunity to catch up with each other on a pretty scheduled basis. And it also, I wouldn't say makes up for, because nothing makes up for not being able to physically go to church for 6 months, which has really been a hard thing for me to deal with. But it is a good, practice in accountability for me in actually continuing to study and learn about the Bible. Because for me, that's something that I need to work on, is not putting that on the back burner when I don't have accountability. So I'm grateful for my mother's willingness to be that community for me while I physically can't go to mine. Yeah, that's gonna be my day. If I happen to have any leftover time after accomplishing those homework things, I will do some personal statement reviews for my Fiverr page. Once again, you guys are still keeping me busy, so I have 2 that I would like to get turned in by tomorrow for my clients. So that'd be good to do that tonight. I will try to plan on that. These articles are so long. Look at this one is 26. This one's 33, and I think the other one's 17. We're gonna be skimming a little bit. Here's something that really drives me absolutely wild that has to do with online learning. See that nice little highlight button right there? Well, no, you can't actually. Okay, now you can. That nice little highlight button doesn't work. You want to see why? Nothing happens. So my fix for that, here's my pro tip, is to do this little line thing, line, and then put it in red. So if you want to kind of draw attention to a paragraph, you can. It'll automatically straighten for you. Or if you want to underline specifically, you can do that. That's a little easier to find, at least on the side, than nothing. I wasn't going to film again until after I got back from dinner, but I just got my test results for COVID, and good news, the girl is COVID free. That was surprisingly fast. I got tested at 9:45 this morning maybe, and it's 4:27 when they tested it, and then they told me at 4:58 the same day. So great. All right, I just got back from dinner, and sorry, my hair is all over the place right now because I was walking outside in the park. I'm going to enjoy the cookies that I forgot to bring and eat during my walk, and then I'm going to keep on with the homework until I have a little devotional time with my mom. We're talking about Romans 5 today. Normally we talk on every Sunday night, but it got pushed to Monday night this week, so I'm excited to talk to her. I think that's gonna wrap it for today. Unless something happens, I'm not gonna film again tonight. But I will see you tomorrow after my ridiculously early 7:30 a.m. class in evidence. Today is definitely one of those days where I'm sort of wishing I didn't have an HD camera. It is Tuesday and I didn't feel like putting on real clothes. So I think the best thing I could say for my outfit today is it is pajama adjacent. Tuesdays are a little bit of a hard hump for me in the week because I have that 7:30 a.m. class and I just don't do well at 7:30 in the morning. Even if I get a full night of sleep right before, it's just too early for me to be doing anything, honestly. So I usually go back to bed for an hour or two after and stay in pajamas the rest of the day. Hence what's going on right now. I didn't get everything done that I had planned to yesterday, but that is okay. That's usually how Mondays go for me. I still did do a decent chunk of it, so I'm just going to basically finish up my list from yesterday. It's all I honestly needed to accomplish today on top of like actually doing the personal statement reviews, because I just got a couple new orders in this morning, which is great. Thank you. But now I have more to do. I am going to get working on that. Probably not gonna film a whole lot today because I literally just gave you my whole to-do list already. And then we have class tonight. So yeah, this might be it for Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. Y'all are gonna have to excuse my hair today because I just got out of the shower. It is about 1 o'clock, actually about 10 minutes till, because I have a class that starts at 1 o'clock. But I wanted to check in and let you know about the rest of my yesterday and this morning. So yesterday I had international courts, and I mean, it's a longer title than that, but it's easier just to call it international courts. I don't love doing the reading for that class because there's just so much of it and it's really dense articles, and then we basically go over maybe 10% of it in class. Also, that class is one where my grade is pretty much entirely determined by my oral arguments, and so the readings are helpful to the extent that they help me prepare for those, but I don't have to actually know anything in them for an exam or anything like that. So I think it'll be fine, but it's just exhausting always leading up to that class. After class, I worked on my negotiation reading for tonight. I also got a little bit ahead on today's homework so that when I woke up this morning, I could just focus on the one class I have left today, which is ethics, that I haven't done on my reading for yet. I have done most of it. We should be fine. I have about a half an hour in between this next class at 1 o'clock, which is criminal procedure, and then ethics, and that should be enough time for me to finish up the last two cases that we were supposed to read. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I talked to my grandma yesterday. She's doing good. I also am making a lot of plans the last couple of days with job interviews and one else that I'm mentoring this year, so I will be happy to tell you more about those as we get into those kind of meetings and time of year, but right now it's more scheduling than anything else. I know that this video is called Week in the Life, but as in my previous videos, I'm really only addressing Monday through Friday pretty much, or even less than that. So I've been thinking of doing something like a weekend in my life because those look pretty different than my actual weeks. So if you'd be interested in that, which is where a lot of these things that I'm scheduling actually come into play, let me know in the comments below. Every time I talk to you this week, I've either just eaten or I'm about to eat. Last time I was at Trader Joe's, I picked up this pumpkin bisque, which is part of their fall launch of pumpkin items, which I'm a fan of. I'm going to try that out for dinner today, as well as some other Trader Joe's favorites. If you are interested in what those are, I actually made a video a while back on all of my favorite things from Trader Joe's, so I will link it up here for you to check out if you want. But I'm going to make this. I just finished my ethics class. Those cases were so hard to read. I don't know what was going on. And especially class today, I feel like normally this professor is pretty good at like easing you into the topic, but I felt very just dropped in the middle of it and confused. I'm glad that 2 hours is over so I can kind of refresh and get set for my negotiation class tonight. So I have one chapter of reading left for that I'm gonna do in the next hour after I eat. That should be no big deal. That's my plan for the rest of the evening. I'm feeling kind of tired and ready to go to bed, which won't happen until 11 p.m., which is 6 hours from now. So I just want to say, this is really good. Highly recommend. I found a new corner to film in that has absolutely nothing on the wall. Hey everybody, it is Thursday, about 12:30 or so. I'm waiting on a call for what I think is an interview for a job over the summer. I'm not sure if it's just a casual conversation or something more than that. So we'll find out. And at 1 o'clock, I have criminal procedure again. Remember, I have that Wednesday and Thursday afternoons back to back. Later this afternoon, I will be taking a quick trip to FedEx and then doing some research assistant work and attending a meeting for the Carver project where my criminal procedure professor will actually be speaking. Please feel free to ignore whatever is in the frame back here. I don't know what's going on and I'm choosing to ignore it. Criminal procedure is over. We had a really interesting conversation about the development this week in the Breonna Taylor case and the failure to indict the police officers who shot and killed her when they invaded her home as a result of executing a no-knock search warrant. I really have no desire to get political on this channel, but I do want to acknowledge that that is what is happening in the United States right now, and it's incredibly relevant to what I'm learning in my classes. So I just wanted to let you know that we do talk about those real-world situations, at least at WashU and I hope throughout the country in law school classes, that those conversations are being facilitated by law school professors in a way that is respectful to multiple points of view, but also is providing an opportunity to analyze these real scenarios that we will one day be dealing with in our professional careers through the lens of what we're studying at the time. My interview, which was an interview, it turned out, went pretty well, I think. I had interviewed with this particular office last year as well, and obviously did not end up working there. It's actually for a public defender's office, and so when I apply for internships with those offices, I have to work pretty hard in answering their questions of why I would want to work for them, as all of my experience and interest right now lies in working for a prosecutor's office. Those are totally fair questions, and I think that in the future I'll do a video more specifically addressing what I think about all of that. For now, it's just a waiting game to see if they believe me. Not so much believe me, I'm sure they do, but to see if they want to make an offer for me to join them in their office next summer. I hope they do. It's an office I would really like to work at and gain experience from. I'm deciding if I want to go now or like in an hour to go ship at FedEx. I'm also going to go out and get dinner from one of my favorite restaurants in St. Louis called Pappy's. It's a smokehouse barbecue place. It's amazing. If you do end up in St. Louis and you are a meat eater, you gotta go to Pappy's. It's so good. Come through Pappy's. Look at that. I think the Carver project thing tonight is at like 7:30, so I have several hours between now and then. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to apportion them all is. Tomorrow I have some other commitments, but I don't think I'm going to film tomorrow because, like I said earlier, I want to do a video showing my weekend as a law student, which for me includes Friday. So I think we're gonna save a Friday for another time. I'm not really sure what else to talk about or show you, so I can think of one thing to show you that happened. I don't feel like taking my camera off the tripod, so we're just gonna awkwardly do this. See those plants? I didn't grow them because they're fake, but they look reasonably okay from a distance. I think this one is the most skeptical in my opinion, especially in person. It doesn't look that real, but these little snake plants are cute. And then I also got, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got these little fake succulents too. There's another succulent that I thought was a lot smaller and I was gonna put in that pot, but it was pretty big, so we put it in a different a little holder over above my sink. I'm not gonna walk over there to show you that one. These ones are better looking anyway, in my opinion. It is approximately 7:30 p.m. on Thursday night of my 5th week of my 2L year, and so we are coming to an end of this video. I'm about to jump into my Carver project meeting to just say hey to the other Christians at my law school. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to see other videos like this, you can check out my playlist of days and weeks in the life, as well as turning on notifications by hitting that bell icon so that you are notified every time I post a new video. If you're not aware, I post every Saturday, except on the weeks when I don't, and I would love to have you as a subscriber. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, you can let me know by hitting the thumbs up button, or if you really don't, hit the thumbs down button. That communicates just as clearly. Thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Until then, God bless.